January 12, 2010, a devastating 7.0 magnitude earthquake struck Haiti. Over 200,000 people died, and at least 1 million people have been displaced. For most Haitians, it was the worst moment of their life.
And when I felt that, I didn't know if it would be like this, but anyway, I went outside the house, and then it was like the worst moment of my life.
The effects of the earthquake were horrendous. Over 300,000 Haitians have had critical injuries from the earthquake. In addition, some officials believe that over 200,000 Haitians have had their limbs amputated.
And so coming here, one of my first thoughts was, oh my gosh, there's so many amputees, there's so many prosthetics, you know, around, but then I'm just like, I'm seeing one small percentage of the nation, and then imagine that throughout Port-au-Prince. It's just, I'm seeing such a small portion of it, so I think that was one of the biggest shocks.
Volunteers across the world rushed to save the lives of Haiti's many amputees. Although many countries and organizations have donated supplies, there are still shortages. For example, after the quake, Haiti suffered an extreme shortage of water that was safe to drink. In addition to food and water shortages, the workers at the field hospital say that sanitation is bad and medical supplies are low.
Well, the patients are the same, but the conditions are a lot different. We don't have supplies. I've run into a lot of people that have leg length discrepancies, and they don't have shoes that we can put lifts in. They don't have adequate equipment to rehabilitate with. I have hardly anything to do exercises with, so I'm really scrapping around to come up with substitute ways to do things. So it's really challenging to do it.
Although the need for emergency care has subsided, there's still a huge need for physical therapists and psychologists. Another necessity for many Haitians now is prosthetic limbs. With over 200,000 amputees, prosthetics are needed now more than ever in Haiti. But most people agree that Haiti does have hope.
They are really resilient. It's amazing to see how they're a great community that support and love one another. People with disabilities are not very common or accepted in Haiti, but they've really just integrated and love each other, and they really work together, especially for translation and help with exercises. You can just see a sweet community.
And Haiti has begun to recover over time.
The culture is wonderful and loving and understanding, and there's tons of community. I don't know if it was like that. I'm assuming it was like that a lot before the earthquake, but even now I feel like a lot of the Haitian community is just so connected and helpful and appreciative and stuff like that.
There's a lot to rebuild, but many Haitians are optimistic about the future. Haitians have lost their houses, their friends, their family members, but they continue to live on.
The resilience is large. Like, they come to therapy, they come to the doctor. So many people are on crutches. There's so many scars, so many deaths, but there's so much joy, and people tell their story, and they're happy to see you, and there's, you know, they're just happy. You know, they're still happy. There's a lot to mourn, but there's a lot to live on for.
And throughout all the destruction that Haiti has suffered, its people have continued to look towards a bright future.